Skydiving, the perfect activity for adrenaline junkies who want the experience of flying through the sky. For many, this may seem like a very threatening pursuit, but it's actually very safe. Only about 0.000045% of skydives result in a fatality. Still, the thought of falling into that unfortunate statistic is terrifying. This first video we'll be looking at is a recording of the final moments of Ivan Maguire. Ivan Maguire was a 35-year-old experienced skydiver with over 800 completed dives. This was a great passion of his. However, on April 5th, 1988, Ivan made his final jump. After already doing 2 jumps on this particular afternoon, Ivan was getting ready for his third. This time was a bit different though. He was filming a video of a skydiving instructor training a newbie for their first jump. This video shows the final moments right before the jump. First, Ivan jumps out of the plane, and the instructor jumps out with his student. We see them deploy their parachute, and this is where things go wrong. You ever have one of those moments where you're on your way to the store and then halfway there you're like, oh crap, I forgot my wallet? Well, this was sort of like that, except Ivan forgot his parachute and he was falling from the sky at terminal velocity. We see Ivan reach over to pull his parachute only to realize it's not there. What ensues is Ivan panicking as he realizes his fatal mistake. After this accident happened, there was an investigation to look into why a mistake like this was able to happen. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, no one is allowed to jump unless the pilot checks their parachute first. It seemed that since Ivan was wearing very bulky video equipment on him, the pilot mistook that for the parachute. And Ivan being so comfortable with doing this, and being tired from already jumping twice that afternoon already, just wasn't thinking about it too much. It's scary to think about what must have been going through Ivan's head when he realized his mistake. The jump was from a height of 10,500 feet, or 3,200 meters. A free fall from that height would take a little over 30 seconds, so I'm sure he had a lot to think about in that time. In October 2016, a YouTube user named Dateline420 made an unnerving discovery in the woods. Posting videos about his hikes through the woods wasn't an unusual topic for his channel, but what he found in this video was far different from the others. At the start of the video, he explains that he was walking through the woods, as usual, when he came across a fire pit next to a tent. He went over to see what it was when he noticed this.
Anyway, I'll cut right to the chase because I might die. Look what these are. What the f is going on in here? These are all different people, and they're all just... This is Utah, Florida. They're all different. And look at this shit. Like, look where the f we are. Who the f does something like this?
Later on in the video, he sees a bunch of sticks that are lashed together that seem to have been used prior to create some sort of cage.
Or this. Holy shit, I just realized what I'm looking at. The video's not doing it justice, but this bundle of sticks, they're lashed together. That's a cage of some kind, or a hut, or a lean-to or something. I'm assuming that whatever this is, or was, collapsed.
The video ends with them hearing a voice nearby and then fleeing the scene.
And 7. Oh shit, I heard voices. We have to get the out of here.
Later that day, he went back to that area to film a part 2 of the video. He said he returned so that he could pin the location on Google Maps for future reference. Determined to get more information, he returns to the ominous missing posters, takes one, and runs away with it.
Hopefully they left fingerprints.
This one has a pretty anticlimactic conclusion. According to the description of the videos, The person who recorded this went to the police with this information, and when they investigated, the residents of the adjacent property said the posters were being used as decorations for an upcoming Halloween party. Which would make sense because all this happened in October. Nothing more ever really came of this.
We found our victim, and sad as it may be, she's our friend. But you know what? We all have to make sacrifices. Our first victim is going to be Cassie Stoddard. She's going to be alone in a big, dark house out in the middle of nowhere. How perfect can you get? I mean, like, holy shit, dude.
I'm horny just thinking about it.
Hell yeah. There's lots of places to hide. I unlocked the back doors, so it's all locked. Now we just gotta wait.
This clip was recorded by Brian Draper and Tori Adamczyk just moments before they killed their classmate, Cassie Stoddard. This is only one of the many recordings they made leading up to this night. These boys, who looked up to other infamous killers like the Columbine killers, dreamt of achieving notoriety by becoming killers themselves.
We're gonna go down in history. We're gonna be just like Scream, except real life terms. We're gonna be murderers.
Good, baby.
Like, let's see, Ted Bundy, like the Hillside Strangler,
No.
the Zodiac Killer.
Those people are more amateurs compared to what we're gonna be.
Their first victim they settled on was Cassie Stoddard. The night of the murder, September 22nd, 2006, Cassie was house sitting for her aunt and uncle. She was hanging out with her boyfriend, Matt Beckham, when Brian and Tori came over to watch a movie with them. Brian and Tori left before the movie ended, saying they wanted to go to the movie theater instead. Before leaving, they unlocked the basement door. Later that night, they returned to the house to carry out their plan. They snuck into the house through the basement door and used the circuit breaker to cut the power in the house in an attempt to lure Cassie and Matt downstairs. When this didn't work, they turned the power back on. Matt, seeing how frightened Cassie was, called his mother to see if Cassie could stay at his house that night. Cassie refused, as she felt it was her duty to see through her obligation of watching the house. At around 10:30 p.m., Matt's mother picked him up from the house, leaving Cassie by herself. This is when Brian and Tori made their move. They cut the power to the house once again and went upstairs, where they found Cassie laying on the living room couch. They slammed the closet door to scare her, and then stabbed her 30 times in the chest. When they fled the scene, they made this final recording.
I just killed Cassie. We just left her house. This is not a joke.
I'm shaking.
I stabbed her in the throat, and I saw her lifeless body just disappear. Dude, I just killed Cassie. That felt like something real. I mean, it went by so fast.
Shut the up. We gotta get our act straight.
Okay.
They left behind a plethora of evidence, so it wasn't long before they were caught. In the end, they both tried blaming each other for the murder. They're both currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole at the Idaho State Correctional Institution. They wanted to go down as ruthless killers, but in the end they just made themselves look like cowards. For a full dive on this case, I recommend you watch 3 videos that Explore With Us has made on this, where he goes way more in depth on these videos, and an analysis of their police interrogation. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.